this is Miss Humrit here, and I'm going to be going over the video that will help you prepare for your quiz that you're about to take. So let's take a look at these fractions. So you see that there's 5 and 4 on the bottom. Okay, so we want to figure out what the smallest number that both 5 and 4 multiply to. Well, the smallest number that both 5 and 4 multiply to is 20. So first I have the fraction 3/5. So I want to figure out what I need to multiply 5 by to get to 20. Well, that's going to be 4. So I'm going to multiply by 4 over 4 so that I can get that bottom to 20. Then for the second fraction, I have 3 over 4, and now I'm figuring out what I need to multiply 4 by to get to 20, and that's going to be 5. So I'm going to multiply by 5 over 5. Now remember that when you multiply fractions, that's the same, you need to multiply the top and the bottom. So 3 times 4 is 12, 5 times 4 is 20. 3 times 5 is 15, 4 times 5 is, again, 20. So now I can go ahead and I can add those together. Well, 12 plus 15 is going to give me 27, and that's over 20. So I need to figure out how I can change the fraction 27 over 20. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract out 20 from 27. And when I do that, I'm going to get 1 whole of 20. So let's go ahead and let's write it this way. So I'm going to get 20 over 20 plus 7 over 20. Now that would equal 27 over 20, right? Well, 20 over 20 can be written as 1, and then I get 7 over 20. So that right there is your final answer. Remember that this 20 over 20 is going to turn into a whole number 1. Now let's take a look at number 2. We need to solve this equation. So to solve this equation, we need to get our x's on the same side. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 3x from both sides. The reason why I subtract is this 3x is positive, so I need to subtract 3x to get it over to the other side. So that cancels, and I'm left with 1 is equal to 5x minus 3x is 2x and plus 7. So now I want to get that plus 7 over to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract subtract 7. 1 minus 7 is going to give me a negative 6, and that's equal to 2x. Then I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 2. So x is going to be equal to a negative 6 divided by 2, which is a negative 3. So that's the final answer for number 2. Now let's take a look at numbers 3 through 7. Or 8, I'm sorry. So we want to figure out if A, B, and C are coplanar. So let's find A, here's B, and here's C. So to be coplanar, you need to land on the same plane. Well, do they end up on the same plane? Yes, they're all on plane letter P. So that is true because they're all on the plane P. And I want you to fully write out true and false. I don't want you to do T and F. A, B, D are coplanar. So here's A, here's B, and here's D. Are they coplanar? Or sorry, are collinear. Collinear means that they are on the same line. Are A, B, and D on the same line? No. So that is false. Next, plane P and the line AB intersect at B. Well, first of all, here is plane P. Where is plane P? Right here. So here is plane P right there, okay? So plane P and AB, do they intersect at point B? Yes, point B is on the line and it's also on plane P. So this one here is true. Next, let's go ahead and let's take a look at this next one, plane P and plane N. So notice that they're both uppercase capital script letters. Okay, so plane P is right here, and plane N is right here. Where are the two hitting? Well, it's this line right here. Are they intersecting at line AB? Yes, they are, so that is true. D and C are coplanar. Here is D, here is C. Are they on the same plane? No, they are not, so that is false. What is another name for plane N? Well, here is plane N. Okay, now to name a plane, if you're not going to use the capital script letter, you need to name it by 3 letters on that plane. Well, we only have 2 letters on that plane, so I'm going to add another point, E. So then we can go ahead and label this A, B, E. That's another name for plane N because I took 3 points from that plane. All right, let's take a look at number 9. Find RS and be sure to label your answer. So here we're looking at inches. So I notice that it goes 2 inches over. So it's going to be 2 inches over. And then it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's split up into 8 segments. So let's count how many segments we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would say it goes to about 5. So it's going to be 2, and then we use 5 of the 8th segments. And I want to make sure I label it, so I'm going to label it inches. Let's take a look at number 10. So for number 10, we want to graph the following points, and we want to make sure we label them. So we want to graph the points 3, 1. Now remember that points go x and then y. So x is how many we're going over. We're going over 1, 2, 3, and then up 1. I'm plotting that point. So that is point A. Then we want to plot to point B. So we're going left 2, 1, 2, and down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to be our point B. Then we want to do our point C. We're going over 0, down 1, 2, 3. And that is going to be our point C. Now let's take a look at number 11. I think these are the ones that trip up students the most. So I like to label things as I learn about them. Find x and the length of JL, knowing that KL is 35. So from K all the way to L is going to be 35 units. JK, just this little bit in here, is going to be 2x minus 5. JL, this guy right here, is 5x plus 7. So you'll notice that JK and JL are all the way filling KL. So that means that 2x minus 5 plus 5x plus 7 is going to be equal to 35. So 2x plus 5x is 7x. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2, and that's going to be equal to 35. So let's go ahead and let's solve this out. So I'm going to start by subtracting 2 from both sides. And then I get 7x is equal to 33. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 7. And then I get that x is equal to 33 over 7. Well, let's turn that into a decimal to make it easier. So that's going to be about 4.714. So that's our answer for x. Then it asks us to find what JL is. Well, JL is represented by 5x plus 7. Well, now we know what x is. It's 4.714. So what I'm going to do is I have this 5x plus 7. And now that I know what 5 is, I'm going to take x out and I'm going to put in what x is equal to, which is 4.7. 4 times 4.714. There we go. It figured itself out. So this should be 4.714, and then that's going to be plus 7. So 5 times 4.714 plus 7, and then you end up getting 30.57. So I want you guys to go ahead and get a ruler from the front if you haven't already and just measure out that segment yourself. Once you're done measuring in inches and in centimeters, ask me any questions you have about the quiz review. Then you can turn the quiz review in and start taking the quiz. Thank you for listening.